Okay, just getting set up here. Today I'm going to be in Daydreams. This is another Hannah Karzan book. All right, and for you keeping up, she did just have her brain surgery and she is recovering nicely and hopes to be back to the coloring world soon. All right, so pulling out my chair, we are going to do something very different today. We are going to practice blending colors that we would not normally put together. So what you can do is just open your crayon, pencils, whatever you're using. I actually pulled Prismacolor this time. Pull any two colors and practice blending. So I think I am going to just take off on these fish and see what happens. So I am starting with Blue Lake, which is 1102, and Henna, which is 1031. So there's going to be a challenge. Well, it's actually going on now in Coloring Books Keep It Clean on Facebook. And in that coloring book, the challenge is to mix any two colors that you wouldn't normally think of mixing. So here I'm going to come in with this blue, and then I've got what's called henna to blend into it. So I'm coloring really light up here, but I am going to coat the entire piece with this blue. The reason for that is because when you're experimenting with color blending, you don't necessarily know what it's going to turn out like. If it's going to be something like, wow, so glad I discovered that, or ooh, wish I hadn't have done that. So because of that, I am coloring the entire area so that I get a more evenly distributed blend. But I will still be getting lighter touch as I come into the base. So y'all ready to see what happens? Yeah, some of these colors are going to be like, ooh, and some are going to be like, ugh. And that's when you want to keep them in order so that you can write down anything you really liked so that you can go back and do it again. So that was 1102, and now I'm going in with 1031. So yeah, let's see. So now I'm going to come in. Like I said, some of these may be like, ooh, and some may be like, ah. And I will leave all that up to y'all to decide. But you see, I'm going in here pretty heavy-handed at first, down in these little notched areas. And then as I come out, I'm going to be very light touch. And that's how I'm going to get that perfect little blend. And I would say that these two colors, not bad. It's going to be very interesting on the fish. And I thought this picture would be a nice picture to play with and experiment with blending. You know, that's some of our most happy accidents are when we grab colors and just start blending and we find out what's going on with our pencils. You're going to find that your, maybe just your 12-piece set is really more like a 24 when you start blending. You're going to find colors that you're like, oh, that makes a whole new color, and I love that color, and it wasn't in my set. So now I need to write it down and remember so I can use that again and again. So you can see there is a point to this type of thing. And my next video, I think, is going to be showing you how to make a grayscale. Or better yet, let's call it a monochromatic, because I have one to show you that I did in all blues, I have one to show you that I did in all greens, and then I'll be actually working on one in grays, or if you would prefer to call it black and white. So, all right, so that's kind of cool looking. So that's my first two colors. Next two colors I'm going to play with are going to be Marine Green 988 and Violet 932. And you'll notice each time I'm trying to go with the lighter of the colors. So red or brown usually overtakes the blue. In these two, these are both secondary colors, so I'm not sure that it's going to matter, but I think I'm going to start with the purple just because it is a little bit lighter shade. So I'm just going to go down here to the body of the fish. Or do I want to, because I could do those? Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just find a spot and get started. Do his face. Do the fish's face. And again, I am going to hold my pencil and see how I went further back on it. That's so that I keep that light touch. Lighter and lighter as I come all the way out. Then build up pressure as I go in. Because when you're blending and you're pulling colors like this, you've got to mesh the two colors. So you can go heavy-handed at first and then lighter, heavy-handed then lighter, and then where they overlap is where you're going to get that perfect blend. Okay? So I'm going to come in here and get a little more heavy-handed or more pressure, so to speak. Trying to keep my hand out of the picture. You know, I always try my best to keep my hands out of the pictures. I've watched so many videos where people color like this, and I'm like, no, I want to see what you're doing. So when I do mess up and get my hands in there, my apologies. I try real hard not to. I think it's important that if I'm going to color and you're going to watch, you need to actually be able to see what I'm teaching. So there we go. So there's my first color. And now I'm going to come in with my second color, that 988, that marine green. More heavy-handed, more pressure up here at this side. And I will probably do this entire page with just mixing colors. Just mixing and experimenting. See if I can figure out any new color combinations that I like. This is really good for when you're doing like a mermaid's tail, a background that is not your standard sky. You know, you can use it when you're doing really mystical and imagination things like dragons. Gosh, my mind's going blank. But yeah, I've used it. I've used this technique some on doing hair. Just changing from color to color. Okay, so that's not bad. It's a little dark, but it's not a bad combination. Let's go to another set. This is a different blue than we used a while ago. This is 904 Light Cerulean Blue and Dahlia Purple, number 1009. And let's just pick another fish. Let's just go on down. So I'm going to start with the blue again because it is the lighter. Just going to pick an area. And I'm going to go over this, the little dots, because I will probably come back in with a gel pen on those. Probably a gold gel pen. we go. Darker, getting lighter, lighter touch, and getting heavier. This is just an awesome way, even with colors that you know how they're going to look. It's a great way just to practice your blending. All right, so now I'm going to go over to the Dahlia Purple. And let's lay that in. Heavier up here at the top or at the side. Lighter as I come down. I do like this together. Doing some extra blending. Then I'm going to come back with the blue and do some more blending going down in. If your blend doesn't blend for you the first time, just go back and forth with the pencils until you do get that blend. Okay. And I don't mind having that little shape there. I just don't want a straight line where I've tried to blend. Okay, next two colors. Let's see, what did I grab out? I grabbed out 917, which is Sunburst Yellow, and 1081, which is Chestnut. So a yellow and a brown. Let's put that in here on this fish. Why not? This is gonna be all about different colors. Let's just do this end with the yellow shade. Lighter up here, lighter touch, heavier touch down here. And even if you don't have the Prismacolors, you can do this with any pencils you have. You can also find colors that are close to these if you see something you like, and try that in whatever brand you have. So now over to the Chestnut. Yeah, I think I've decided to do these in gel pen and just come right up here next to it. Doing little circles. I have a lot of control right now because of how close down I'm holding that pencil. And I'm just really trying not to push on the paper as I pull out. Up close is fine. Now see, I was holding my pencil here. I scooched back on it. Scooched is a word I've used for a while. I don't know if it's a word, but in my vocabulary it is. Yeah, so see, as I come up, I'm getting lighter and lighter and just fading that out into that, what was it, a sunburst? It was Sunburst Yellow, yes. And it's all about, it is about the paper, probably more so than the pencils, but a big thing is it is how much pressure you are putting on those pencils. All right, but different papers do accept pencils in different ways. Now see, I'm going to come in and just make all this a little bit darker. Right up here close to the edge. Then medium. And getting lighter as I do each section, lighter and lighter, till I'm barely touching that paper. Okay, now I'm going to stand up and see. Yes, I am still on camera. Good. I know the lighting changes back and forth, and I really don't have control of that yet. So let's see. Some blue and yellow. So this one is actually yellow chartreuse. So it's a yellow green. It's 1004. And then this one is 1022. And it's Mediterranean blue. So you know I'm going to start with this first just because it's lighter. And I really want to see what it does over here on this fish. Just because I think that body is going to be pretty with this. So I'm going to start heavy-handed. Lots of pressure. That's all I'm doing so far. Just lots and lots of pressure here. And I had a timer set on my phone to go off in 28 minutes. And you know what I did. Or rather what I didn't do. I didn't push the timer. So I will have to stand up again in a minute and look at the clock there. Let me know if you enjoy videos like this where I'm just experimenting. I feel like they're important because you need to learn or be told, maybe if you don't feel like you can experiment, that it's fine to experiment. You know, maybe don't do it in your favorite book if you've never done it before, but yeah, why not? There's no telling, as Dr. Seuss would say, the places you'll go, the things you'll see. You know, you'll discover things as you just let loose, let go, and experiment. Play around with your pencils. I've got one picture that I just did, and I actually painted the face because it had a nose ring, which there's nothing wrong with nose rings for some people. It's just not me. And I wanted to cover it. So I used paint. And I mixed the colors and then covered over the nose ring. And then I actually mixed a paint that matched my brown or tan that I was using on her face. And that way it looked more natural. But yeah, just playing around and experimenting. And that might be something that I should do in a video sometime, is how to take something off of a page that you really are not fond of. I took out a Skull and Bones tattoo from a page recently. It's possible. You have to work at it. But yeah, it's very possible. I do like these colors together. I'm having to work to not get too heavy too fast with my blue. But I do like how that's blending, and I'm going to take that all the way to the tail. And I'm going to have to pause for y'all because that's my hubby and I got to take it. So when family calls, I take those calls, even when it was just a butt dial. So, all right. Finishing this one up, we were coming over. Yeah, because in-laws have dementia, I do not airplane mode my phone at all anymore. I just always leave it. I've got to. You know, and you've heard me before, some of you say, you know, always family first. So, anyway, yeah, it was just a butt dial. He was like, I what? I was like, yeah, you called. What's up? He's like, oh, no. So, all right. And there's that one. Yeah, I really do like those colors. Now, I have more colors to go. So let's see how many more we can get through, or see if we're going to need to do a second video. So this time I have 1026, which is Grade Lavender, and 996, which is Black Grape. Now these are both in a purple tone, so you would think these would be okay together. And I think they will be. I'm just going to hit the body of this fish. And again, I'm going to go, we're going to do this one just a little bit different on our color mixing. We're going to do the whole thing, but then I think I'm going to come in on both ends darker and leave the middle as the lighter tone or the lighter shade. Yeah, so you can go from light to dark to light again, or dark to light to dark again. You can go from light to dark, dark to light. It is totally up to you because you're the one coloring. It will give a different effect. Okay? If you go dark in the middle or dark on the ends, it will give a different feel. I can tell you that for sure. And you can do it. Draw something out, just even an oval, and do the ends darker, and then do another oval and make the ends lighter, and see how it looks differently. See, you know, if it looks more airy. Does it look more confined? You know, what kind of feel does it give? And I'm going to get lighter and lighter as I come in. Yeah, see, I just moved back on my pencil some because it forces me to go lighter. But then I'm going to go heavier here and then lighter as I come out. I'm going to do the same thing on the other end. I'm going to cap it right here. Maybe that little nose, or that little nose, they don't have nose. I was going to say the nose mouthpiece, but the mouth area would be maybe a different color. Now remember, if you're going to color right off the edge and you don't want to go outside of it, you can put a pencil there. And then when you hit the pencil, you're not going outside your coloring area, and you don't have to be quite as careful on those edges that way. And it looks like I've got a line there because there's lines on the paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to here, then I'm going to come out to here. So I'm going out to different places with that pencil before I stop. And that'll help break up the illusion that I'm just going to that line. Okay, so I do like these together. I figured I would because they are both in the purple family. So when you have something that stripes, if you want to break that up, come back and forth with your lines so that you don't have just that even line. Okay, so there's those. Now I have 1, 2, 3 more sets pulled, so we're going to go a little quicker so I can just do the one video. So this one is 993 Hot Pink, and 1006 Parrot Green. And I think I'm going to go with the pink first. Let's go up here. Color the whole thing. But I will be heavier just on that outside. I think my hand might have been in your way. Okay, then we're going to move over to the green. And again, this is Parrot Green. It's an interesting combination. Interesting, good or bad? I'm not sure yet. I might have to look at it and let it grow on me, but I think good. Just because it's unusual. Okay, so there's that one. And then I have these two, which is Caribbean Sea 1103 and then 1003 Spanish Orange. Let's just do this face. I'm going to do the lighter on the tip, the lighter shade, although I'm going to cover everything but lighter pressure back here because that's where I'm going to add the blue. And sometimes when you use like blues and yellows together, you're going to get a green where it overlaps. And it just depends on the shade that you're using. So don't be surprised if a picture goes green quick if you're using your yellow and blue. Your primaries will make your secondaries, and that's okay too. Okay, so there's that blue and that orangey yellow. Okay, all right, last set I have, and if this cuts off, it just cuts off. Okay, 916, which is canary yellow, and 936, which is slate gray. And I will tell you, when you are painting, you can actually mix a yellow and gray together to get different shades of like army greens. So let's see if that happens with the pencils, or olivey greens. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what happens here. Here's the yellow. Here comes the gray. Well, thank y'all for joining in and watching along. Let me know if you try this and if you have any favorite color combinations that were happy accidents for you. I didn't try any of the ones that I thought were ones that maybe you'd seen somewhere before. You know, you can do a lot of your pinks and purples together and things like that, your oranges and yellows. So what I was really trying to go for was the colors that are really different, because that was part of the challenge on Coloring Books Keep It Clean. And see if you think olive green or army green, this does kind of look like it. But yeah, so enjoy, have fun. I will be back in a few days and we will start that monochromatic that I was telling you I wanted to do. And we'll see what goes with that. All right. Just going to get a little bit more yellow blend in here. All right. Well, y'all have a good rest of the week. And I will see you back here probably on Saturday. Okay? All right. Have a good one. Bye.